All right, guys, welcome back into another NBA DFS slate. My name is Eric Polzin. You can find me at 9to5 Sports on really any social media platform. Going to be breaking down this NBA DFS slate on Tuesday, this 10-25 slate. It is going to be a 4-game slate, and it is going to be a slate in which we kind of have to earn the plays. There's a lot of players that are ruled out, in which we got to figure out what's going to happen. We got to figure out what the rotations are, which players are going to step up. And honestly, it's kind of going to be a guessing game in the sense that we kind of know which players to target, but really they're going to be players that for some reason or other haven't really popped too much this season. Whether it's just not being able to make jump shots, Norman Powell, that is, or some other guys that just haven't gotten the amount of playing time that you typically would. We're going to be looking at usage rates that are very small sample sizes to try to give you guys some good plays. So doing the deep dive, trying to find the best plays for you. Well, I'll do this video kind of like we always do, okay? Touch on the injury news, touch on the values, touch on the ownership, go through the top plays, and then show you guys kind of a first look build for this Tuesday 4-game slate. Before we get into that, if you guys enjoy this coverage, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. That helps us be able to put out more NBA DFS content for you guys as well. If you guys want to join Occupy Fantasy, links in the description below for all the access to the NBA DFS tools that you'll see throughout this video. And these tools do update throughout the day as well, just so you guys know. All right, let's get into this slate. So the thing I always love to start off with is looking at the injury report. Okay, let's just look at out. So we can see there's a bunch of players out that have a huge amount of usage on their teams. Okay, and that's my biggest worry with the slate. Shai's out, big. Paul George is out. Because of the Clippers limiting John Wall and Kawhi Leonard to about 20 to 25 minutes per game, that the Clippers are a tough team to figure out. Brandon Ingram is currently ruled out. That means, well, CJ McCollum will know to be on him. That's a big one. That's an easy one. Josh Giddey is out, guys. Okay, that's huge. Look at, and that's pretty much it. Marquise Morris is out. Jalen Williams is out. Don't really care too much about those injuries that much. Now let's look at game time decisions because, okay, we don't have that just yet for game time decisions. I know Zion Williams is a game time decision. That could be a huge one as well if he sits, okay? And I think they could take the cautious approach with him as well. So that's something that we're looking at as well. Now we're going to pivot into the top value plays for the slate, starting out with FanDuel. It is projected to be Norman Powell with both Kawhi Leonard and John Wall being limited minute-wise, restricted minutes-wise, and also Paul George being ruled out. Then we are expected to see Norman Powell and Robert Covington get a lot of minutes. Okay, so Norman Powell on FanDuel is probably just going to be a lock for you. Very cheap on FanDuel compared to DraftKings. DraftKings, you kind of have to think about it. Norman Powell has been a player that just needs to make some shots. I'll pull him up here, guys. Like, he has been terrible shooting the ball this far. 2 for 8, 1 for 10, 4 for 9. They're going to need him to step up and actually start to make some shots. And, maybe just, shoot to get hot. You guys have heard that term before. Maybe that's just what occurs with Norman Powell. He is someone that throughout the preseason, when they were limited minutes to John Wall, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, he was someone that was stepping up, was kind of that star player in the preseason, okay? In this sense, I guess, like DraftKings, I don't know. I might play him on DraftKings, but FanDuel, I feel like you just have to play him at that price point. So Robert Covington projected to get 24 minutes, and that should be enough for him as well. On DraftKings and FanDuel, he is firmly in play. Okay, let's see here. For Robert Covington, power forward, 4.1 on DraftKings is a little bit too high, but we can see kind of been a point per minute player. So if he is someone that does get 25 minutes, maybe even 30 minutes, yes, he should be a strong value play. He should be someone that gets 5x, someone that I feel comfortable with playing. He's kind of just, I call these shoulder shrug plays where if you end up on him, you just kind of shrug your shoulder, be like, all right, I'm good with it. On to the next build. And then from there, Trey Mann for the OKC Thunder with Giddey out, with Shai out. He's projected to get a lot more minutes, 31.6 minutes. And, that means he's going to be a great play. Once again, on FanDuel, a much better play. Okay, so on FanDuel, we can easily start our builds with probably Norman Powell and Mann and feel pretty good about it. See, Reggie Jackson, okay, value play on FanDuel. Gosh, there's so much better plays on FanDuel, okay, given the price points. Projected to get 28 minutes. Like, he should be a safe place. Like, honestly, guys, FanDuel, Jackson, Mann, Powell, like, you're probably just loading up on those guys. Kenrick Williams popping up there as well, projected to get 22 minutes. That's interesting to me. Oh, very cheap on FanDuel. That's why we can see the price decrease on FanDuel compared to DraftKings. Let me pull him up here. So I think it's with Jalen Williams out there, expecting him to get more run. The data is, And let's see. Yeah, 22 minutes. Do I like that? I don't know. Maybe. I mean, he's kind of a shoulder shrug play for me as well. Let's see the difference between DraftKings and FanDuel. Yeah, much more of a play on FanDuel as well. Okay, so I feel like we kind of get the general senses of what we should be looking at in FanDuel. Let's just take a peek at DraftKings. So Robert Covington on DraftKings, yes. Aaron Wiggins, yes. Aaron Wiggins on DraftKings is very cheap, almost the minimum price. Let's see how many minutes he's projected to get. 27, about 28 minutes actually. So Aaron Williams is someone that might just be forced into a lot of minutes is what we're seeing here. And for him, like, we're not expecting big things, okay? But maybe he can get you 20 DK points playing about, almost 30 minutes. That's what you'd be hoping for with this play. You'd be punting, value play, punt play, not a terrible play. And then from there, just more of the same on DraftKings. We can see much more difficult slate on DraftKings than it is on FanDuel. So yeah, let's take a peek at the ownership, and then I'll be kind of showing you guys my first look build for this. So right now, as it sits, it does seem like people are going to pay up for Luka Doncic because you should be able to, because there is a lot of value on this slate. That does make a lot of sense. DeAndre Ayton, I'm guessing people are paying up for him because there simply aren't like quality center plays out there. They're taking the price slight decrease. They're taking the safety. That to me makes sense. Norman Powell, people are just going to take the risk with it. I'm fine with that. Porzingis, I could see Kyle Kuzma being the play to go with. Kyle Kuzma only had 8 shot attempts last game. I could easily see that flip flop. Devin Booker, Chris Paul, like simple stuff there. I do expect CJ McCollum to actually be the highest owned player on the slate. I'm guessing this updates throughout the day, guys. Okay, so I'm guessing that as everyone gets their information into the data for say, with Brandon Ingram ruled out, I would imagine that CJ McCollum, even at that 8K price point tag, he would be the highest owned player on the slate. And then Luka. And I don't really know from there. I'd say from there, it's pretty accurate. So let's get into the top picks, or my favorite picks for today. So real quick, just touching on this game, Detroit versus Washington. The game over and under set at 220, which is actually one of the best on the slate. Kind of tells you all you need to know about this slate. You could go with Bradley Beal. You could go with Cade Cunningham. Don't really need to touch on those two. Those are perfectly fine plays. If you end up on them, I'm not going to argue with you. Jaden Ivey, maybe. I don't feel like we need to force him into our builds. Same thing with Bay. Kyle Kuzma, I don't mind. Like Kyle Kuzma at 6.9 could be someone you're looking at. Last game only shot the ball 8 times. Previous 2 games, 16 and 19 shot attempts. I don't know, maybe he just wasn't feeling it that day and didn't want to shoot that much, although he did go 50%. So just kind of a strange game where the shot attempts weren't there. We could see that getting corrected. Porzingis, you could definitely play at the center spot if you guys want to. Can he get to 40 DK points? He can. The play that I like the most on this slate is just kind of safety. I talked about how there aren't that many quality center plays on this slate. Isaiah Stewart is someone that is playing the minutes, around 30 minutes per game, getting around 25 to 36 DK points per game. Given this slate, I'm perfectly fine with playing someone that's going to have a floor of 25 DK points or so at this price point. So I do like him as a center play if I don't want to pay up for Ayton. So from there, looking at the Dallas Pelicans game, got a 219.5 over and under. Once again, not that high scoring. The problem with this game is that Valanciunas, who yes, could he go for 60 DK points? I don't know, probably not. But could he go for 40 DK points? He certainly could. Okay, but at the same time, so could Christian Wood. The problem with both of them is that they're just not playing enough minutes. Okay, like 24 and 25 for Christian Wood, that is not a lot. And it's not like he's getting into foul trouble either. It's just what they're doing for these two guys. So that's kind of the worry for me. So sure, for now, I'm just going to put in Luka and CJ McCollum because they feel like the 2 easy plays on the slate. So just plugging and playing those 2. And then from there, let's figure out where we want to go. So looking at the Pelicans with Brandon Ingram out this season thus far, we've had limited minutes to look at for who to be on. So the data would say not to play Trey Murphy actually hasn't really benefited with Brandon Ingram off the court actually. But he's someone that I think would step up. And this is where we just have a small sample size. Like the data that's going in there for Trey Murphy is not big. I mean, it is 61 minutes total, which, it is an okay sample size, but not too crazy. Like his usage actually goes down 2% with Ingram off the court. Like I just don't see that happening. I think that's just a case of a small sample size. Like he'd be a player that I think could do well, could get more minutes. Marshall is actually someone that has seen an increase in usage, about 16%. Once again, this is a limited sample size for him. Only about 16 minutes. So let's not go crazy with that sample size. But he has been an okay, almost point per minute player. If let's say Zion's ruled out, then maybe Marshall is someone that you're looking at for a value play as well. If Zion's ruled out, maybe you look to Larry Nance as well. Larry Nance has kind of always been a point per minute player. I would imagine he would get to around 30 DK points. He's one of the players that in a small sample size, only about 46 minutes total this season with Brandon Ingram off the court, he's seen a 12% bump in usage. Okay, maybe that's the route that you go, about 1.2 DK points more per 36. So like you're not going crazy with that either, but it could be a route that you go. You guys are kind of seeing why I don't really like this slate too much. Okay, there's a lot of guessing going into it, and I don't really like that approach. I like to kind of know our constraints, and I'd like to know how to attack each slate. From there, the Clippers are like an educated guessing game. So we got Reggie Jackson here. Reggie Jackson should be able to play, about 30 minutes in this one. He is someone that you think will step up, but then you also have John Wall in this game, who maybe gets to more 28 minutes in this one. Maybe they give him a little bit more run in this one, and if they do, then he should be able to step up and maybe even get to 30 DK points. He's someone that the usage should be there for him if that happens. Just looking at like with Paul George off the court this season, and John Wall's only been on the court for 9 minutes with Paul George off the court total thus far this season. But he's seen it's a 54% usage rate in those 9 minutes. So obviously, like we're not using that data for anything, but it could be a sign of yes, okay, if John Wall gets an extended run, he is someone that should be able to produce. Kind of risky. Norman Powell through 11 minutes thus far this season has seen an increase in 4.8 DK points with Paul George off the court. Like it's tough. Like I don't mind Norman Powell. He makes the most logical sense here. It's just tough. I'll put him into the build for now. And I actually don't mind Robert Covington kind of for those same reasons. I do think Robert Covington will get an extended run in this game. For the Clippers, I don't think we have to play Zubac or Batum. Now, OKC is a very interesting spot for me, actually. I think I like the OKC Thunder value the best. So you got Man here who, with Josh Giddey out, with Shai out, and even Jalen Williams out as well, we can include that in there. Trey Mann has seen 20 minutes thus far this season with those three off the court, being on the court. He's seen a usage rate of about 40% with those three off the court, has scored about 28 DK points for that. So let's just do that for per 36 basis. It'd be like 50 DK points. Obviously, we don't think it's going to be 50 DK points, but that like he could be a solid 30 DK point play. Okay. Could be a solid FanDuel play as well. I think I'll just go with him just because he's going to be forced into minutes. And I like the fact that we can put him in shooting guard spot, especially for the specific build that I'm putting out there. Like I like that approach. I want to see the minutes that Isaiah Joe's projected to get. Okay. So no minutes projected for Isaiah Joe just yet. It makes sense, guys. He's only played 6 minutes thus far this season. He is someone that might be forced into playing time though. What the data is saying is that it's saying that Dort, Wiggins are going to be players that could step up. Okay, and I do really like Dort on this slate. So Dort has kind of been a consistent fantasy producer, over 30 minutes thus far in each game, 22, 33, and 30 DK points thus far. You look at it's a very small sample size. 8 minutes with Josh Giddey, Shai, and Jalen Williams off the court, 43% usage rate, and about 10.3 DK points there. Okay, I'm going to take just Jalen Williams off that sample just to see what Dort's minutes are then. That's still 8 minutes. Okay. Yeah, I like Dort. I feel like he's going to be a safe play. I hate saying safe play, but I think he'll be a fine play for you. And then Ousmane Dieng here, he is someone that could step up and be a decent play for you at 4.2. Saw 23 minutes in the last game, and that's kind of the huge indication for me. That's really what we're pulling this play in from, is from last game. But if he's someone that gets some minutes, gets some run, he could be someone that you're looking at as well. So with 31 minutes thus far with Shai and Giddey off the court, he has seen the second most DK points at 31 minutes into the sample size, around 24 DK points. So he is someone that, maybe gets 30 minutes, which he's currently projected to get 20 minutes. Maybe he gets 30 minutes, and maybe it's something that comes like a very strong price point play for you on this slate. More of a shoulder shrug play for me, but he could be something that goes out and pops. Wouldn't be surprising if he has a good game. And then from there, like the Golden State versus Phoenix game is obviously the game that you want to attack the most, but at the same time, it is the most difficult to fit in there because all the projected value on the slate is going to be on the other games. So that's my biggest issue right now on this slate. Like, sure, Devin Booker probably going to get to 40 DK points. Chris Paul probably going to get 35 DK points. Steph Curry, could he get 50 DK points? He can. These are all just like okay price point plays. No one that I'm really going out of my way to play except for Ayton. Like if you have to end up on Ayton, I'm fine with it. Should be able to get 30 to 40 DK points for you on this slate. Once again, though, not something I particularly am going crazy with. So just trying to close out this first build for you guys. Let's put it out there. Mate, do we go John Wall? It's tough. It's such a tough slate. I'm going John Wall just for hopefully it gets us increase in usage. Maybe he gets 28 minutes instead of 25. We'll see. It's a risk. Educated guess right now. Maybe go Trey Murphy instead, to play it safe. All right, that's all we have for you guys on this slate. Make sure to like and subscribe to this video. helps us be able to put out more NBA DFS coverage for you guys. Yesterday, I was in the live Discord chat before lineup lock. Lots of fun there, so definitely check that out for the live chat. Okay, it's a lot of fun in there. A lot of ideas bouncing off of each other. One of the ideas was that we saw that the Utah Jazz had three very solid, power forward plays: Kelly Olynyk, Markkanen, and Vanderbilt. I got the idea to fade Markkanen in one of the builds just because he was such an obvious play for Vanderbilt, and that actually ended up paying off. That ended up being my best lineup. So there are like processes and thought processes in the Discord chat that we're going through each night. So make sure to take advantage of that. Link to that is in the description below. All right, thanks for watching, guys, and good luck tonight.